Hi, I'm Jackson.
I'm Lauren.
And this is Who It At?
The Masked Singer
And Dancer
Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to
Who It At? The Masked Singer
and Singer
Podcast.
Let's go everybody, let's go. It's your boy Jackson.
And Lauren.
And we are back here with a new episode of our show talking about Masked Singer Season 5, Episode 3. Episode 3. Trace. Let's go. This was a good episode. It was a very unique episode because it was our first wild card episode ever of all time. So we have stuff to talk about with that. We have to talk about the person who got off. Someone got eliminated. Who could that be? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about all of our guesses. I have no idea. I don't know. However,
all right. Well, yeah. So some housekeeping things to kick off the episode. Let me see if we have any new reviews.
I am actually looking at the reviews, and we have one.
Wow.
So please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, please. That would help us out quite a bit. If you were like JMA1111, thank you, Jamal. Maybe it's Jamal. Supposed to be like Jamal
maybe,
or something like that, but thank
Jama.
you. This is titled Chameleon Guess. So Chameleon, obviously in Group B, which we did not see tonight. However, good to be talking about it. The Chameleon is definitely rapper Wiz Khalifa. He has a song called James Bong, which is a reference to James Bond, because there was the 007 guess.
Interesting.
Wiz Khalifa is very tall and very skinny, so that's not a bad guess, actually. Yeah. I'll have to go back and listen to him. Wiz Khalifa's mainly a rapper, so we don't get a ton of his just singing voice in his songs, but I think he sings a little bit, so I'll have to go back and check that out. That's a really good guess, actually.
Yeah, I know also someone tweeted a couple things at us, with their guesses, saying that, I'm trying to remember, that one of them was saying that Grandpa Monster might be Kevin Hart.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but it was an interesting guess. So
that is an interesting guess. Sorry, not to be rude.
Well, okay. No, but we really appreciate you guys reaching out to us, tweeting at us, and of course, those reviews the most.
Yes, we very much appreciate it.
Another thing, join our Patreon club.
Yes, please. Our squad, our Patreon clan.
Yeah.
Our tribe.
Like we said last week, we did a special Patreon preview episode for this season for you guys. We also have lots of other fun content on there related to TV shows, movies, all that good stuff. Specifically related to our other podcast, but all that content is on there just for you.
Yes, it is. And then follow us on social media, please. At TGL.
Nope. At Who Is That Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
If you follow at TGL_pod, that's also us too for our other podcast, the Greenlight Podcast. So we're making some changes on that podcast. So go over there, listen, get in on the ground floor of the new format if you'd like to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, I think that's all housekeeping. Let's talk about this episode.
Yeah.
Masked Singer Season 5, Episode 3. Overall notes, go.
Boom. Well, first of all, the whole setup just around the wild card coming in, I thought was really fun. It was very fun. We knew it was going to be a whale, just based on, but they just kept showing a foot, part of the head, different things. And then we got the big reveal and I guess we can say just what the character was. Yeah, the Orca was so cute. I love that costume.
It was cute.
It was just so dumb looking, but really fun.
It was quite dumb looking and also quite fun.
Yes.
So, it's a fun costume and gonna be a fun addition. Don't think they're gonna last super long, but we'll talk about that. I guess I kind of spoiled because I said I don't think they're gonna last long. Maybe they didn't last this episode. Who knows? But if you're listening to this episode, you probably do know. Joel McHale was our guest host.
Yes.
Joel is, bar none, the best guest host.
He was pulling no punches tonight.
It was so funny.
Oh my God.
He was going after Raccoon. He was going after Robin.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Joel's just great. Once again, Joel's one of those guest hosts who adds something to the show. When he's on, he's gonna be funny. He's gonna add some humor to the show.
He's always my favorite guest host.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And we are big fans of Community. It's one of our favorite TV shows of all time. So obviously we have a soft spot in our heart for Joel. My family also watched The Soup a lot as I was growing up. So obviously a soft spot. And he's a good host of Card Sharks, which is
there you go,
a reality competition show that seems very easy to win money on.
Yes.
So good for you, Joel, for all of your accomplishments and things. So yeah, that is that. We obviously, this was our wild card night. We already talked about it. Let's do our Masked Singer host outfit rating of the week for Niecy Nash.
10 out of 10.
It was great, wasn't it?
She had that little mask on too at the beginning. Yeah, it was fabulous.
The all white jumpsuit. It was great. I also say 10 out of 10. She has taken the outfit game and upped it to a new level.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon, when you come back, take notes.
Yep.
Just take notes, my friend, because you have a lot to live up to. Seeing as last season, we were kind of up and down on your outfits, so do that. Now, granted, I will say, Niecy hasn't had as many opportunities to make a mistake, because she's only been on 3 episodes, and the first two she was wearing the same thing.
Yes.
So, maybe take off a few points for that. Maybe shave off a couple points for the same outfit over 2 episodes. But, I digress.
All right. Let me see. Did I have anything else to say? They did a little thing about Raccoon going through the trash, and that was fun.
They did.
It was on brand for a Raccoon.
Their opening video packages are always good, I feel like. I always just let it wash over me, and I'll always find a laugh or two in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, if we're ready, we can jump into our first contestants.
I think we are.
With an S.
With an S.
The Russian dolls.
The Russian dolls.
We obviously figured out today that there are not 2, but 3, and then Cloodle-Doo came out and told us there are definitely at least 4.
Yes.
Which, honestly, I was a little disappointed that they were so upfront about that with the Cloodle-Doo.
Sure, but I mean...
Like, I think we kind of assumed at this point there were 4 based on some stuff in the clue packages, but I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to be told outright like that.
Sure.
Like...
That's a fair criticism, I would say. But, I don't know. I feel like it makes sense. We were expecting it, so, I think it's a fun Cloodle-Doo thing to have. Cloodle-Doo really only showed his face there, didn't he? He didn't show anything else.
Nothing else.
Cloodle-Doo gets nice in and out.
And that's just not like an incredibly... I mean, I guess it's helpful so you're looking for 4 people.
It definitely narrows things down, for sure.
But at the same time, like, I don't know.
It could be even throwing us off. Maybe their 4th member, I don't know. Maybe it could be, maybe they're throwing us off. Maybe they don't even have a 4th member.
Maybe. Anyway.
They're just outright lying again, like potentially Robopine.
Maybe. So the Russian dolls, did, what did they do?
Wonder by Shawn Mendes.
Yes, they did Wonder by Shawn Mendes, and it was so good.
Their harmonies are tight.
They are crisp.
They're tight harmonies. They're just outstanding singers. And I think
you can tell that they're musicians, you know what I mean?
And I think they really shine, obviously, when they're singing together. I think their solo parts are still very good. However, it really is it's beautiful to listen to when they all sing together.
And I think it's definitely better than the Snow Owls. I think that they are just... They're so much more clearly a group rather than 2 people singing a duet, if that makes sense.
I agree.
And I do think that it's really difficult when you're in that kind of like harmony trio group. To really hold your own harmony. Especially, especially if you're like the middle or something.
No, totally.
So that is a difficult thing to do, So I think they're definitely musicians.
Oh yeah, I would say so too. Great performance, one of the best performances of the night.
I think it was my favorite of the night. TBH.
It was up there for me. I can't say it was my favorite. I can say it was at least my 2nd favorite. However, I have a soft spot for another one of our contestants.
That's fair.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, so their self-portrait clue. That's
true.
What they did tonight, all the contestants. It was pop art. So like in the Andy Warhol style.
Yes.
And they said, basically like we're a pop singers.
Nah, they said these colors really pop like we do. Maybe they are popcorn.
Huh.
Maybe they just slab them with some
Taylor
butter,
Dane.
throw them... Oh! Do they have a connection to Taylor Dane? No, that's too much of a stretch. But
maybe.
Just think about it. Just think about it, folks.
Okay.
So some of their other clues, I took notes on clues this time because I knew Screen Rant was going to let me down. And guess what? They did. Screen Rant did let me down. So.
And I have a good bit too if you miss any.
Sure. They said we haven't always been in unison. There was a mobile / solar system, the things you put above little babies' cribs.
I think it was just like Earth, Moon, and Sun were the only things on it.
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. There was a banjo I put in parentheses 3 strings. That was for me because I thought this was before we knew that there were 3 of them. So I was like, oh, could there be 3 of them? However, later, immediately after, they showed a portrait in the background that there were 4 dolls.
Yes.
Which would make sort of sense with the clues we learned today. Who knows? One of them was rushed to the hospital. There was a fire and rescue little truck in the back. There was an M red varsity jacket. Red M&M? Maybe this is the M&Ms. What if they're...
I was about to say Eminem. Their 4th member just is Eminem.
That would be interesting.
He would not do this show.
He would not. Well... No,
maybe.
He probably wouldn't do this show. I don't know.
I don't think he'd do this show.
There was also help with a red E.
Yeah.
So implying ready, maybe. Ready or not, here I come. I don't know. I think the ready definitely is something.
Yeah.
Maybe a title. So yeah, did you have any other clues that I may have missed?
Well, the other thing, so after their performance, the little bar at the bottom of the screen came up and said, oh, did you like the Russian dolls? And it showed 5 of them. Like, the one popped open and then, like, 4 more came out.
So could it be...
And then they nested back again. So I was like, okay, could that be a clue? That
Very
there are
possibly.
5? I don't know.
Very possibly.
Okay, so I looked up just ready song. Just to be like songs that have ready in it, whatever.
Let's do a
one of the ones I found was Ready to Run by One Direction. So this could be 4 or even 5.
Yeah.
One Direction members reuniting. Now, I don't know if they quite have, if all of them have like the musical talent to be able to hold those tight harmonies, but at the same time,
that's my thing.
At this point, they could be like, all right, we have the 3 strongest musicians now. We'll add the other ones in later, and no one will be able to tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they could get Harry back right now. I think all of the other ones would be easy to get.
So
I
again,
don't know if Harry could.
Maybe it'll just be Harry. 4. But that little clue thing with the 5 could be implying that there once was 5.
That there was 5 of them. Yeah, sure. Do you think any of the other clues match up?
With One Direction?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember hearing anything about like a medical emergency or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it says they haven't always been in unison, which would make sense because they didn't know each other until they were on X Factor.
Yeah, true. And see,
and there was the planet thing. They kind of moved across oceans, moved from the other side of the planet, kind of.
That is true.
So
that
maybe something like that. I don't know.
And here's my thing. So I don't know if Oh, that's interesting, actually. I don't know if you have seen this. We've gotten tweeted this a couple times, I think. People thinking that this is the pop group Hanson.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know much about Hanson. There are 3 members. They're brothers, which is weird to me for a couple reasons. Because, number one, if there's only 3 of them and there's going to be a 4th, unless they turn it around on us, maybe. But we'll see.
Sure.
And also, they said they weren't always in unison. I guess that could be like we're brothers. Like, we didn't always get along.
Sure.
But that would also be, I feel like that would be a weird clue for them.
Yeah, it would be a weird clue for people who have kind of always been together.
Yeah. And now some of the things...
Now, I will say the 3 banjo strings, there's that. And also the mobile, whatever, had
there were
3 planets.
Now, question.
Kind of.
Do you think one of those could have been Mercury? The planet Mercury.
Oh, maybe. That's
because
possible.
They were...
it was just like gray.
Yeah.
So.
Their debut album was released through Mercury/Polygram Records.
That's interesting.
Which is interesting.
Well, that's a good guess. Good on you guys.
And also their hit song from 1997 was Bop. 3 M's Bop. So maybe the M on the varsity jacket, but I don't know what That's the only thing I can tie to that.
Yeah. Was there a medical emergency, maybe?
There was. One of the brothers had a pulmonary thing, I think.
Oh, wow.
However, in the alternate side of it, why I think it might not be Hanson, is because they've kind of come under fire a little bit, like, very recently. So, I hope this isn't ruining any Hanson fans in the group. However, during George Floyd's protest, like the Black Lives Matter movement protests last year, fans criticized them for not speaking out. After continued criticism, they released a statement in support of it. However, the backlash increased after a copy of one of their Pinterest accounts leaked, which contained a trove of pro-gun memes, many of which were racist, transphobic, homophobic, and sexist. Notably, Zach Hanson had saved memes supporting George Zimmerman in the killing of Trayvon Martin.
Oh, no.
So, and in November...
and how recently was that? Like, would they have already filmed this before that happened?
I mean, that was, like, spring of 2020.
Oh, so not that recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in November 2020, which I still think they wouldn't have filmed it yet, Isaac, one of the band's members, posted on Instagram, "Our governments want to cancel Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter in the face of COVID. I, for one, will not comply." So, if it is Hanson, I don't know if I like you, Hanson. Yeah, I don't know. And they also held a series of in-person concerts in Tulsa, Oklahoma from October 20th through January 2021, despite ICU beds being full in Tulsa at the time. I just can't I just don't see the Masked Singer bringing them on after such recent controversy.
Yeah,
you know
I have to agree with you there. I have to agree. I do think the clues match up pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you
But
there.
I mean, I think if a fourth member is brought in, then I think it kind of throws it, like, out, you know? Like, I think it throws it out of the water.
For sure.
Personally. Unless there's just a different Hanson band, maybe. The Hanson brothers.
Yeah. Now, granted, you know what I just thought of? With my One Direction guess, if Harry's not really available, they could just bring him in for, like, the finale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could reveal the fifth one, like, for the finale. He's only there one episode.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah. That's I don't know, maybe, Lauren. I do One Direction. I just don't know if they could hold that tight of harmonies, but they have grown and matured a lot lately.
For sure.
Maybe they've just been working on their craft.
And I mean, a lot of them have had independent music careers. I'm sure they've sought out, you know, like, more training, things like that.
Yeah.
Because they have to kind of hold their own individually now,
sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So I could see, who do you think the three are if Harry's not in the equation? Like, probably Zayn.
Zayn, because, yeah. Zayn.
I know Niall and Liam have released music.
Zayn, Niall, and Liam. Louis, they're saving for...
Yeah.
He's batting last to the lineup, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Harry's gonna come in and clean up, but yeah, Louis last in line.
Yeah.
Sorry, Louis, I love you. Come on the podcast to discuss, please. But yeah, so I don't really have a guess. I guess I'll hop on your guess, but my guess is not Hanson.
Yeah.
And it very well could be, but I just
it
can't.
Seems like a pretty big risk.
I feel like it would be a pretty big risk. So
at the same time, like, I've been a little bit surprised the kind of stuff that they've let slide from, like, the panelists saying on The Masked Singer, considering that it is a family show.
Yeah, I guess.
Like Joel McHale's comment about Robin running a topless club today.
That was funny. That was
really
great.
funny, but
Joel,
I was a little surprised they let him say
Joel
that.
had every right to say that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if my guess is not Hanson. My guess is at the same time Hanson and not Hanson.
Huh. Okay.
Let's say that. Boys to Men is still a good guess, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But
they do sound pretty young is the big thing.
I guess, yeah, that's true. But Hanson's not that young. But I guess they're younger than Boys to Men for sure. Anyways, let's move on. Enough of Russian dolls. We still haven't even heard them sing Shallow.
Yeah,
and that was two of them.
That was only two of them. I wonder if that was purely a promo thing, because I was surprised they released that in the first place.
I was too.
You know?
I think that's just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Maybe they're just bringing in people in and out. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know, and the other thing, too, I remember there was that initial clue when Russian Doll came out for the first time that said, like, there can be as many as 15 dolls nested in one.
Maybe it's just like a
are there going to be 15 people? I mean, maybe it is. How many people are in BTS?
I don't know. There was a lot.
I mean, because, like, I don't think they'd bring 15 people in at once.
Yeah.
But
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I was thinking it was 7. Okay, so 15 is a lot. But
so
that
let's
could
throw
include
BTS
collabs.
out there.
We'll throw them out there too. Maybe BTS. Who knows?
Maybe BTS. All right.
Why not?
Let's skip over our next contestant.
Yeah.
And move on to our third contestant of the night. No reason why we're skipping over our second one. No reason at all. We'll talk about him at the end,
preference.
Though. Yeah.
Robopine.
Robopine. Our boy Robopine. So good. Robopine sang All of Me by John Legend.
Yeah, this guy has just such a rich, buttery voice.
A silky smooth voice.
Yeah.
Listen to my voice in your ears and just imagine this being 50,000 times better, and that's Robopine.
Sure.
So All of Me by John Legend, sang it outstandingly. Now, you talk about your take on Robopine, and I'll talk about my take against you.
Whenever I hear Robopine, I think he sounds like someone who has not had, you know, a ton of training, but as a natural talent. That is my opinion of Robopine's singing voice. Because he doesn't sound like, he doesn't sound like someone who, like, he sounds like someone who's really, really good at singing along to the radio. You know what I mean? And, like, maybe he has released some music, maybe, but I don't think that's the primary thing he does.
I don't know. I think he is a singer. I love Robopine's voice. I think it's so smooth. And I don't know. I really do think this is someone who is, if not, I think they're trained. And I think that's where I differ from you a bit.
Okay.
Like, I think we would hear more, and I think we heard it in Seashell tonight, as we'll talk about, someone who is, I think, naturally good, but doesn't have as much training. Robopine has great breath control.
To be honest, I think Seashell has good breath control too.
After tonight, I wasn't as impressed with Seashell's breath control.
I don't think she messed up. She just didn't have any vibrato or anything.
Yeah, but
and she did seem confident. I think it was a little lower than the Demi Lovato version. But.
This is not a dig at Seashell. I think Seashell's great. I love Seashell. However, I think Robopine, I don't know. I think they are a professional singer almost.
I don't know. I gotta be honest, I think you're hearing just the natural quality of their voices, and because you like the natural quality of Robopine's voice better than Seashell's, I think you're equating that with training.
And you know what? Maybe. Because I myself have only had 2 summers of voice training, so I can't really tell that much. However, just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So, let's get into clues. I mean, he was incredible. I thought he was great. He was setting his own tempo there for a while. Like, he was not exactly on beat, which is fine, he still sounded great. So let's talk about some clues. So Robopine at one point talked about every quill on his back standing up. I don't think that meant anything. It was a stomp clue, because they were dressed up in the construction outfits. And they danced a little bit at the beginning in a very stomp way. Stomp the show or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if that means anything. Called himself a singing superhero. Was that an hourglass on the trash can?
It looked like it, yeah.
There was an hourglass on a trash can. He talked about being from Costa Rica. Interesting. And once again mentioned how he was 60 years old. I don't believe that.
The other question is Robopine just a liar? Is he not really from Costa Rica?
Very possibly. There was a lightning bolt clue, talking about there were police lights, there was a cat, and then there were roses there at the end.
Yeah,
he handed to someone.
He kind of got on one knee and almost proposed to somebody on a throne.
Yes, correct. So do you have anything else? Was there anything that I missed?
The only other thing was that the self-portrait. So it was a painting of him as a rock star. He was blonde. He had a red electric guitar, and there was a spider web on a shirt. He said that he was wearing the things he was scared of.
Yep.
All right. So I don't agree with Jackson's guess. I
have a couple guesses.
I also don't really think that my guess from last week of Denzel Washington is right. However, I did find a couple things with the clues that line up with him. So with the hourglass, I looked up just things related to time.
Sure.
I guess he was in a movie, and Time Is On My Side was the theme song of that movie, Fallen, which is a Rolling Stones song. That would also be the rock thing, potentially.
Yeah.
He has played a cop multiple times.
He has.
And he was in a movie called Along Came a Spider.
Yep.
So there's that.
Okay, sure. Anything else that, do you have anyone else, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. So before I talk about my guesses, I want to talk about a guess that was proposed by one of our housemates, and then I actually saw an article of someone talking about it that I just don't know if I see.
Oh, yeah.
So, if this person is telling the truth, I could see it more. However, I don't know if they are. So, a guess that has been thrown around is one television host extraordinaire, Miss Universe host extraordinaire, Steve Harvey.
Yes.
I just don't know.
And I also, body type wise, I don't know if that works.
Steve Harvey is tall.
I know. But I mean, it's Robopine is clearly a big guy.
Yeah.
But I still just don't really think it's Steve Harvey's body type, per se.
Steve Harvey is 6'1". How tall is one of the people I'm thinking of? Okay, only a 2 inches off. They could be having lifts and things. So Steve Harvey was a guess that was thrown out. I don't know. I don't see any of these matching up. Like, I don't get why these clues match up. But you know, people are talking about it. Maybe more of week 1 clues matched up to it. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like someone who's in their 60s to me. Okay, first off, I'm gonna go back to my original guess from last week, which was Jamie Foxx, and there are some things that match up. So first off, let's talk about the art, the what they see themselves as. So there was the spider. Jamie Foxx was in Spider-Man, and guess what? That lightning bolt means he was Electro in Spider-Man. The Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And so that matches up. Singing superhero would match up. I don't know what the hourglass means. I don't know what Costa Rica means, but those things sort of make sense. Another person, someone who they always guess, I feel like every year as well, along with Jamie Foxx, is one Tyrese. Full name Tyrese Gibson. Known for singing fame, known also for Fast and Furious and Transformers fame. So singer and actor. Superhero, I guess you could consider that from Transformers and Fast and Furious, because they're kind of superheroes. He has a song called Black Rose. The roses at the end could make sense. Or an album, excuse me.
Yes.
And then one thing that I thought was interesting is, you know, he's been talking about this he's like 60 years old, you know, all these things that we don't think he is. He has an album titled Alter Ego, which I think could be an interesting way of sort of playing into all of this. I would need to go back to the week 1 clues to sort of see if anything else matches up with Tyrese. However, I think those are solid guesses by me right now. Go me.
For sure. I will say Denzel Washington was also in a film called Out of Time. So more hourglass things.
More hourglass type stuff. That's fair. All right. I think that's all we have for Robopine. Who we got next, Lauren? Who's coming up?
Seashell.
Seashells by the seashore.
Yes. So, Seashell sang Confident by Demi Lovato. Definitely not the way I'm used to hearing that song.
Yeah.
Because it was very mixy.
Yep.
I think that she showed that she had good control over her voice.
Yep.
She kind of hit those high notes. Like, I think that her voice was very crisp, but she definitely gave me the vibe of someone who majored in musical theater but hasn't really done that since. You know, someone who's maybe an actor with a musical theater background but maybe wasn't quite at the level to, like, be a Broadway star or something like that. Yeah,
and I mean, they said one of their clues has been it's been a while. It's been ages since she has seen a stage, which I think is an interesting clue.
Did she say seen a stage or been on a stage?
She said been on a stage, sorry.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Might be. So I think that is interesting. Yeah, I agree. I liked their performance. I thought it was good. I think it's probably a top 6 or 7 level performance. Certainly not a top 3. Like, I think this person is going to go far, but I think when we get to the people who we think are trained singers or just we like better, I don't think they're going to hold up as well. But certainly a good performance. Good performance by Seashell. If she's your favorite, you have a reason to have her as your favorite. So, I have a guess, and I don't think it's right. But I'm going to talk about it anyways, because I don't really know who else it could potentially be. Has someone sent us a guess for Seashell?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember either.
Let me go on our Twitter real quick. But you go ahead and talk.
Check on that. So the one thing I keyed in on, once again, I always talk about people doing this, however, whatever. So they talked a lot about, or not a lot, but they talked about how they were come along and they married or were saved something by a jock, and then they showed baseballs. So I looked up people who were married to baseball players, famous people, and there aren't a ton, to be quite honest with you. However, there was a very famous celebrity who was married to a baseball player for a couple years. It was apparently a big relationship, married to the baseball player David Boston. Is that right? It's something Boston, I think. Give me one second. Checking it out. David Justice, excuse me. David Boston was a football player. That's what I thought. And so some other clues that make sense with this person. There was a black cat in it, and there was a black cat for this person. She likes to see herself as a superhero as well. I think this could maybe be Halle Berry.
I could see that.
Someone who and I think someone who hasn't been on a stage in a while could maybe be a reference to, like, her modeling career.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
For Halle Berry. So just an option. You know, the black cat, Tiny shell in a big world. I don't know what that could mean. The baseball thing makes sense. A showman asked her out. She has been married to some other people, so could it be one of them? So yeah, I'm gonna go Halle Berry when I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna go with Halle Berry. There were also, have we talked about the clues? I don't think we did.
I don't think we have. So let me do that real quick. So Seashell, ages since she's been on stage. We saw a dog, maybe a Labradoodle. She was next to a camera or standing on a camera. So that could also be the modeling thing too.
Yeah.
There was like writing that they pointed out looks like kind of the Marcel the Shell handwriting. Mm-hmm. There was Whose Hand Are You? Someone reaching under a dresser gave me Toy Story vibes.
A tiny shell in a big world, she said.
Yeah, like you said, Showman or Shellman asked her out.
Yes.
There was baseball. There was a poppy seed bagel. Black cat with a 2-minute stopwatch. There were some succulents with a little heart on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then her self-portrait was her with a tornado that had a few items in it, a microphone, a book, a dumbbell, and baking. Was she in Twister? Is that what you're about to tell me?
No,
oh, okay.
But if I'm remembering correctly, she played Storm in X-Men.
Huh. That's not bad.
That is pretty good, if I may say so.
Okay.
Once again, it's very possible I'm reading far into this, but I don't know. I don't hate my guess. I no longer hate my guess, so...
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, my guess, 99% just vibes.
Yes, this is all just vibes.
Well, just what the costume looks like, and also her vocal quality, and the fact that she studied musical theater.
Yes.
Carey Mulligan. So most recently, she's pretty big right now because she just did Promising Young Woman. She was also Daisy in The Great Gatsby. Those are just a couple of like the big things she's done. I think she was on a Netflix show pretty recently too.
Yep.
There was a whole thing about how like she, I guess, was cast as kind of an older woman, and she's only like 35, and there was like people were just saying Netflix was ageist, but yeah.
Which probably true.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, mostly just vibes. I couldn't find a whole lot in the clues that went with that. I mean, it said she dated a showman. She dated Shia LaBeouf. I think she's now with somebody else who's not as famous. But
sure.
She does have a dog. That was in the clue.
Oh.
And she is seen a lot, like in public. You know, she's photographed with her dog a lot.
Oh, was that Halle Berry was in the most recent John Wick movie, right?
Yeah.
And she had those two dogs.
Oh, she had a bunch of dogs too. That's true. Okay, well, I will acknowledge Halle Berry actually is a pretty good guess.
Oh,
whatever.
And I took it and I ran with it, and I'm probably wrong. Yes, that's fair.
All right, shall we move on to the next person?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so this is our wild card contestant.
Yes, it is.
Orca.
Orca.
All right. So,
Orca saying, we're not going to take it.
I thought he had an interesting voice. Like, he definitely felt like he had a distinct sound.
Yep.
I feel like I've heard this voice before.
Yep.
I think he actually had pretty good range, considering I don't think this person has any training. Yep. Like he was hitting those pretty high notes. Yeah. I think he had a little bit of grit in there that was good, but the judges were kind of raving over him, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Better than Raccoon.
Yes.
Whoops. Sorry, as we're going to talk about in a bit. He put his entire body and soul into that performance.
He really
and you know what? We have to respect him for that.
No, this was definitely the most fun performance of the night.
I agree. He was all over that stage. I think Orca's going to become a fan favorite before he gets kicked out next episode.
Yeah.
He's going to have another strong performance that people enjoy, but not strong enough to keep him on.
Well, I just feel like everybody else left in Group A is just, it's like, for the Masked Singer, just a pretty high quality. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody left who's bad.
Yeah, I agree. Which makes it very difficult, you know? It's a cool season to have all that, for sure.
They did mention that next week is the Group A finals, so I think they're just getting it down to 3 and then going to the Super 6, which makes sense, because 3 and 3.
Oh, did they really say that?
They did, yeah.
I wonder how they're gonna...
Not next week, but I mean, like, the next time we see Group A.
Sure. I wonder then, because we'll probably have another wild card for next group, for Group B, right?
I'm assuming,
you would think, yeah. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. So yeah, once again, good, strong. Not enough to make it any further, TBH. But, you know, they could surprise us. If they have a good performance and Seashell has a bad performance,
we'll see.
We could see someone getting eliminated. All right. So they said, for some of their clues, what was their thing?
Orca's pie hole?
Sorry.
The self-portrait.
The self-portrait. Talk about that before we get in the clues.
Yes, it was. Well, I do remember it was a picture of them riding a wave. They were surfing, and then there was like either a rocket ship or a plane. I think it was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
In the background, it was pink.
It was a killer, biggest fish in every sea. Nobody snakes the orca, is what he said.
Yes.
Kind of sounds like a wrestling promo.
I wrote that. I said it gave me wrestling vibes.
I don't know what wrestler this could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So some of the clues. Yes, once again, as Lauren alluded to, Orca's pie hole. There was written on a chalkboard, lemon pizza, orange pizza, and pumpkin pizza. The lemon pizza was $9. Orange pizza was $4. Pumpkin pizza was $9 again. $9.49. Said he was the punchline. He said his father. Was it his father that said he had to make waves by the time he was 25, or it was time to move on. There was 2:59 on the clock that spun around, a minute till 3. There were VHS tapes that he talked about putting his audition tapes in pizza boxes that he delivered. There was an eagle or a hawk that took him away. There were candies. It was like a bowl of candies when he landed on that yacht.
They were gummies, from when I looked up the clue package stuff.
Oh, they were gummies?
Yeah.
Okay, so gummies. And then 1313 Melville Court was at the end.
Yes. Okay, so there are like a few different directions. So first of all, one of the judges' guesses was Gordon Ramsay. I don't really think it's Gordon Ramsay, but someone did mention that, I guess, in an episode of MasterChef Junior, or the kids one, they like dumped a bowl of gummy bears on him, I guess.
That's kind of a stretch, I feel like.
It's a bit of a stretch. Purely vibes, and because I've just wanted him to be on the show for so long, I wrote down Brian Stepanek, who was Arwen in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yes,
he's done a good bit of commercials since, including a DiGiorno's commercial.
Hey,
pizza.
Would you look at that? And how many people know Brian Stepanek based on name alone?
I mean, I feel like if anyone says
-5.
Arwen, there are lots.
-5.
There are lots of people who I have no idea who they are on The Masked Singer. So you know
I mean, that's fair. All right, sorry. I don't mean to dash your hopes.
All right. So another thing I thought, I think they guessed Ryan Reynolds. He was on a series called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
I don't think they guessed Ryan Reynolds for this one.
Oh, they didn't? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that was just me. I thought. Well, I thought that for some reason, I think right when he walked out, someone said like Ryan Reynolds vibes.
You're right. Okay. Robin, I think, mentioned Ryan Reynolds at that moment.
The only other thing I could think of, I couldn't get a whole lot of clues that matched him, aside from, I guess he got roasted by his wife and also the media. Blake Lively is his wife. For wanting pie on his 44th birthday, and she made him, quote-unquote, eco-friendly balloons by tying ribbons onto lemons.
Yes.
So there's the lemon. The orange could potentially be he got roasted for wearing a really bad orange spray tan to the Golden Globes at one point.
So you're just saying all of these clues are from people roasting him?
Yeah, which I think for Ryan Reynolds would be on brand.
Sure, but a bit of a stretch, maybe. Just a tad, maybe.
Yeah.
You're stretching. Okay. You're getting loose.
Well, you haven't even heard a stretch yet, Jackson, because my other guess...
Oh, no.
Okay, so the address was 1313 Melville Court. Okay.
Yes.
So I looked up 1313, came up with a video game, Star Wars 1313.
Yes, this
is
more of a stretch.
That was basically supposed to detail the story of Boba Fett. Now, the actor who played Boba Fett in The Mandalorian is, I think, Tamura. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Tamura Morrison.
I don't know. This is your deal.
And he, I mean, not only was he in Star Wars, obviously, but he also was in a Russo brothers like Instagram live series called Pizza Film School.
Connections.
So, pizza.
Connections.
1313.
Pizza 1313. Lawrence nailed it on the head.
The rocket ship. Star Wars.
Sure.
You know, I'm seeing the whatever.
Sure.
You know, I mean, there was also like he got picked up by a hawk, which, okay, I think that's just like a bird eating fish thing. But sure. I think it's also like more of just like, oh, he got picked up by one of the biggest dogs in the business, which is like Disney and also Lucasfilms.
You know what? Maybe
Jackson's looking at me like, huh?
You've almost convinced me to think about it.
Okay.
For a second.
I wonder if he has a wrestling background by any chance.
I don't know. Maybe
you go.
But the only thing I was really going to mention, I like the Kevin Bacon guess. I hope it's Kevin Bacon. I don't know if it's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
For this one, you mentioned. I'm surprised you didn't mention this person earlier because I know Will mentioned it, you mentioned it, and then I've seen other people mention it. Mark McGrath. From Sugar Ray?
Yeah, I've seen that guess. To be honest, I don't really know Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray has 2 outstanding songs, Someday and Fly. I think Sugar Ray is great. I don't hear Mark McGrath's voice, to be honest, in Orca. I mean, Sugar Ray is definitely a different sound, so maybe he was just doing a different voice this evening, which, is very possible. But I don't really hear his voice. I don't really know if the clues make sense either, because I don't know much about Mark McGrath, and there's not much about him on Wikipedia, and that's my main source. So... Sure. If you really wanted to convince me that one of these people was actually someone who I thought they were on The Masked Singer, you just changed their Wikipedia, because that's pretty much the only place I'm going to look, which might make me a bad host.
However, I also will say, Tamira Morrison was in Aquaman and Moana. So fish,
who?
Water.
This guy?
The Star Wars guy, the Boba Fett guy.
Who was he in those movies?
Moana, he was Chief Tui.
Oh, interesting.
And in Aquaman, he was Tom Curry.
I don't know who that is. Alrighty. He's a chameleon, I guess. Speak of chameleon.
There you go.
Look at that. I think that's all I have to say about Orca. I'm excited to see him perform again.
Yeah,
I think he'll be a fun performance.
I agree.
All right. Shall we move on to our
first guest, or no, second contestant of the night.
Yes.
Who was eliminated.
Our abomination.
We knew who it was gonna be.
Our abomination of a contestant.
Let's go. 3,
Raccoon.
2, Raccoon.
Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1.
Raccoon.
Woo, crazy. Okay, so Raccoon in what I thought was a good choice, sang Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Because it definitely could have been worse.
Down, burning ring of fire.
Yeah. It was rough, though.
Yeah.
He also was flirting with Jenny so much.
He was intensely flirting with Jenny.
Like, to the point where for a second I was like, is this Donnie Wahlberg?
Yeah, I mean, Donnie Wahlberg
is he just doing a voice?
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg was just doing a bit for the entire time.
Well, because he was like, I don't feel like being on the show for too long, but I want to come on and flirt with my wife.
I mean, very possible. I could see that being their thing.
Unfortunately, it was not, but...
It was not, no. I don't know about unfortunately. I like the person who it ended up being, but yeah, they might have needed to talk to HR a bit after his antics on the show. But yeah, once again, a better, because it was more talk singing, but still, like, this man could lose his voice at any moment. Like, not just for a little bit, permanently. Yeah. He could lose his voice permanently at any moment.
Yeah.
Joel roasted him as well. Saying, what did he say?
He said, I'm speechless, much like the raccoon during the song.
Yes, correct.
And then later he said, can't believe Mickey Rourke is back.
Yes, correct, which is a roast in itself, if you remember Mickey Rourke on The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
So,
the gremlin.
Let's go ahead and reveal who it was, and then we can talk about sort of the clue, how the clues match up.
1, 2, 3,
Danny Trejo! Woo! Famous actor, famous bad boy of Machete, and Spy Kids. Yes, both of those. And yeah, so there's some of the clues this evening, if we want to talk about them. A lot of Jenny talk once again. Yeah. I'm on a big stage, started out as a fighter. There were bubbles, he was a champion, and a Hollywood leading man. I didn't really get a ton of clues. Yeah,
there was also a coffee grinder. Danny Trejo owns a coffee and donut shop.
Yes, so there was a coffee grinder this week. There was the donut at the beginning of the episode last week. Referencing Trejo's coffee and donuts. We need to get some of Trejo's donuts. I've heard they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I've had them a couple times, I think, just like at the office or at random places, but we should do it. It's a big LA thing.
I gotta say, I'm not a big donut person, and I also don't eat dairy, so there's that too.
That'll be tough for you, actually. Yeah.
I will say, speaking of donuts, if you get vaccinated, you can go to any Krispy Kreme every day until the end of the year, show your vaccination card, and they will give you a free original glazed.
Very true.
Do it.
Very true.
Anyway.
Also, one thing that I want to mention, shout out to my father, because he called this last week.
He did. Or the first week.
Yes, 2 weeks ago, excuse me. He called that it was going to be Trejo, and it was a good guess, and it turned out to be the correct guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got about
he was a boxer, started off as a boxer, ended up kind of becoming a stuntman, and then sort of becoming a leading man, like they alluded to.
Ever talk about what the off-colored arm was?
No. I wonder if maybe... What was it? It was his left arm, right?
It was.
Is he a southpaw, maybe?
Maybe. That's a really good guess, Laura.
Thank you.
I could see that being the case, but I don't know much about Danny Trejo, unfortunately. Besides the fact that I'm positive he's killed a man before. Yeah. That's Trejo. Maybe Machete. Actually, wait. In Machete, did he have a machete as an arm? Am I? Is that? No, he didn't. That's wrong. I don't know. He was also in From Dusk Till Dawn.
There you go. So one of the movies that we actually just talked about on our Greenlight episode that you can listen to now.
That is a good point.
Anyway,
very briefly,
but still. Yeah. Do you have anything else for this episode? I think we're going back to Group B next week for the Group B playoffs. We'll probably get a wild card again.
Yep.
I think that they'll either do a wild card this week or for the Group B finals, but
true, maybe. But
I do feel like they have a lot of wild cards to get through.
Yeah, for sure.
And they definitely have to do at least one for Group B, because then it's like we're down to the Super Six.
Yeah,
and then is it going to be like? Because I feel like the way they're doing the wild cards, at least how it was tonight, is that we were left with the same amount of contestants.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of weird to get down to the Super Six and then stay at 6 for a while.
That would be interesting.
So I wonder if they're going to do a wild card again. But then then it wouldn't be the Group A finals because no one would be eliminated. So I don't know. I had originally thrown out the idea of like, because I thought the wild cards were going to act as like, oh, one person's getting out, and then the wild card is the potential to get another person out.
Sure.
So I wonder if they're going to do that for some of the episodes, because it would be like, I'm just curious to see how they're going to work in those wild cards in a way that makes sense.
I definitely agree. And I don't know. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
However, I do know that we'll find out eventually.
Okay.
No,
thanks for that.
not to be like that. I just meant I don't know.
I know. Okay.
Any other comments about tonight's episode before we let the people go?
I don't think so. Let my people go, Jackson.
Let my people go.
And yeah, we will see you next week on
Who It At,
the Masked Singer
and Dancer podcast.